It's wild. It is absolutely wild.
It's a glitch in the matrix, Joe. That's the only way to describe it. We just watched a guy with decades of high-level kickboxing experience, a legitimate world champion, get dismantled by a guy who, let's be honest, learned to box on YouTube and reality TV. But when you strip away the hype and the memes, and you look at the mechanics of what happened in that ring, it makes perfect sense.
Does it? Because to me, it looked like a bear mauling a gazelle. I mean, Andrew Tate is a big guy. He's not a small human being. He walks around at a solid 200 plus pounds. But standing next to Chase Demour, Chase looked like he was carved out of granite by aliens who had never seen a human before and just guessed at the proportions. The size difference was unbelievable.
The size was a factor, absolutely, but size alone doesn't beat technique. We've seen that 1,000 times. We saw it in UFC 1, we saw it with Royce Gracie. The problem here wasn't just the mass, it was the application of mass. Chase Demour didn't fight like a boxer. He fought like a defensive lineman who was told the quarterback was hiding inside Andrew Tate's ribcage.
That's a great way to put it. It was violent, man. It was raw. But let's back up. Everyone thought Tate was going to dance around him, the Cobra style, right? Hands down, lean back, pick him apart with a jab. Why didn't that work? I was watching Tate in the first round and he looked loose. He looked confident.
He looked too loose, Joe. And this is where we have to get technical. The Cobra style, that lean back defense where you rely on head movement and distance management, that relies on one critical thing, the threat of the counter. In kickboxing, if you rush Tate, you eat a knee or you eat a teep kick to the solar plexus. That keeps the distance honest.
100%. You can't just bull rush a kickboxer because you're going to run into a shin bone.
Exactly. But in boxing, you take away the legs, you take away the knees. Now all Tate has to keep Demour off him is a jab and a straight right. And when you have a guy like Chase who has that dense, fast twitch muscle fiber, and you can see it, Joe, the guy is explosive. He walked right through the jab. He didn't respect it. And once he crossed that event horizon, once he got inside Tate's reach, the lean back defense became a trap.
That's fascinating. So the very thing that makes Tate special in kickboxing, that leaning back, creating angles, actually pinned him in place?
It anchored his feet. Think about the biomechanics. When you lean your upper body back to evade a punch, your center of gravity shifts over your rear heel. To move laterally, you have to reset your weight to the center. That takes a split second. A split second is an eternity when you have a 250-pound athlete swinging hammers at your head. Tate leaned back, Demour missed the first shot, but because Tate couldn't pivot out, Demour's second, third, and fourth shots were already there. He smothered him.
It's the swarm. It reminds me of when heavyweights just decide to stop boxing and start brawling. It's ugly, but it's effective. And Demour's cardio, can we talk about that? Because usually these big muscle-bound guys, they gas out in 3 minutes. They blow their wad in the first round and then they're breathing through their mouth, hands on their hips. Chase kept that pace up for 6 rounds. That is extraordinary.
It is. And that speaks to the difference between gym shape and fight shape, but also just genetic gifts. Demour is an athlete, a football athlete. Those guys train for bursts of extreme violence followed by short rests. That's not exactly boxing cardio, but it translates when you're controlling the pace. Demour dictated the engagement. He rested when he leaned on Tate.
And leaning on a guy? People underestimate how exhausting that is. When you have a guy that size hanging on your neck, pulling your head down in the clinch, it saps your energy bar like a video game. I saw Tate's mouth open in the 3rd round. I saw him take that deep breath, and I went, uh-oh.
That was the turning point, the clinch work. You'd think Tate, being a Muay Thai guy, would dominate the clinch. But again, the rule set. In Muay Thai, the clinch is an offensive position. You're throwing knees, you're sweeping. In boxing, the clinch is a neutralizer. The ref breaks it up. Chase used the clinch to lean his weight on Tate's lower back. Every time the ref broke them, Tate had to lift that weight off him. It's isometric tension. It kills your shoulders.
It makes your arms feel like cement. I've been there. You try to lift your hands up to protect your face and your deltoids just scream no. And that's when the defense cracked.
Let's look at the knockout sequence. I want to break this down frame by frame because it was subtle. Everyone is talking about the overhand right, but it was the footwork that set it up.
Jamie, see if you can pull that up, the angle from the corner. Yeah, that one. Okay, play it at half speed. Look at Chase's feet here.
Okay, pause right there. Look at Demour's lead foot. He steps outside Tate's lead foot. This is boxing 101, but seeing a guy like Chase execute it against a vet like Tate is shocking. By stepping outside, he aligns his rear shoulder, his power hand, directly down the center line, while simultaneously taking himself out of the path of Tate's jab.
Oh, wow, you're right. He's cutting the angle. That's actually high level. Did he do that on purpose, or was he just stumbling forward?
I think it's instinct. Athletes understand space. He stepped outside and looked at Tate. Tate is trying to paw with that lead hand, the Philly shell style low left hand. But because Chase has the angle, Tate's shoulder roll doesn't work. The shoulder blocks the straight shot, but it doesn't block the looping overhand.
And that overhand, good lord, it looked like a pitcher throwing a fastball, the torque on his waist.
It's kinetic linking. It starts at the floor. He pushes off that back toe, the hip turns over, the lat engages, and he just hurls that fist. Tate didn't even see it coming because he was looking for the straight. It hit him right on the temple.
The temple shot. That's the equilibrium button. It doesn't matter how tough you are. It doesn't matter if you're a Navy SEAL or a kickboxing champ. You get hit on that button, your legs turn to spaghetti. It's biological. It's wiring.
And the way Tate fell, he didn't go stiff. He crumbled. That's how you know the equilibrium is gone. His brain knew where the floor was, but his body couldn't find it.
It's terrifying. 1 minute you're the top G, you're untouchable, you're the most famous man on the planet, and the next second you're staring at the arena lights wondering why the ceiling is spinning. It just shows you the chaos of combat sports. There is no such thing as a sure thing.
Never. And we have to talk about the psychological aspect too, Joe. Tate fights with arrogance. That's his brand. Hands down, chin up, talking trash. That works when you're winning. It intimidates the other guy. But when you're getting backed up by a guy wearing glittery shorts who used to be on a dating show, that arrogance becomes a liability. It breaks the mystique. It's like the Wizard of Oz when the curtain gets pulled back. Once Chase realized, hey, I can hit this guy and he bleeds just like everyone else, the fear evaporated. You could see it in Chase's eyes in the second round. He went from looking nervous to looking like a predator. Confidence is a chemical reaction. Once Demour landed that first clean body shot, the one in the second round that made Tate wince, the dynamic shifted. Tate is used to being the bully. He's used to being the one controlling the center. He's not used to fighting off his back foot against a guy who simply doesn't care about his accolades. Chase Demour doesn't care that Tate was an ISK champion. He just sees a target.
That's a great point. It's the disrespect factor. Sometimes ignorance is a superpower. If Chase knew how good Tate technically was, he might have hesitated. He might have frozen up. But he just went in there swinging. It reminds me of Francis Ngannou when he first started. Just raw power and zero respect for the craft. And it worked because the power was undeniable. But Ngannou eventually learned the craft. Chase showed flashes of learning during the fight. That check hook in the third, that wasn't an accident. That check hook was beautiful. I jumped out of my chair. I spilled my drink. I was like, who taught him that? He pivoted on the lead foot, swung the hip out, and caught Tate coming in. That tells me he's been drilling. He's not just lifting weights. He's been in the lab. And Tate, I think Tate underestimated the learning curve of his opponent. He prepared for the Chase Demour from a year ago. He didn't prepare for the Chase Demour who showed up tonight. That's the classic trap. You watch the tape, you see a guy who looks clumsy, and you think, I'll toy with him. But these guys have money. They have access to the best coaches in the world. If you have athletic potential and you hire a world-class boxing coach for 6 months, you can close the gap. Not all the way, but enough to land that one shot.
Especially in 4-ounce gloves, or even 10-ounce gloves, the margin for error is razor thin. If this was a street fight, Tate kills him. Leg kicks, clinch knees, elbows. But in boxing, you're telling a game with a limited tool set. And in that specific game, size and explosive power have a much higher value than in a pure fight.
It's the great equalizer. Punching power is the great equalizer. You can have perfect technique, you can have beautiful head movement, but if I hit you with a Ford Escort, you're going down. And Chase Demour has Ford Escorts in his gloves.
I want to circle back to Tate's gland for a second. The Philly shell. Mayweather made it famous, Broner uses it. It's a beautiful style if you have the reflexes. But Tate is 30-something years old now. He's been retired from pro fighting for a while. His reflexes aren't what they were at 25. Relying on reflexes is a young man's game.
That's the hard truth. The eyes go first, then the legs. You think you can see the punch coming and your brain says move, but your body is just a millisecond slow. And that millisecond is the difference between slipping a punch and waking up in the locker room.
And Demour's awkwardness played into that. He doesn't throw rhythmic punches. A pro boxer throws 1-2, slip 1-2. There's a rhythm, you can time it. Chase throws pause, overhand, random jab, shove. It's broken rhythm. It's incredibly hard to time a guy who doesn't know what he's doing.
It's the drunken master without the mastery. It's unpredictable chaos. And Tate is a system fighter. He downloads data, he analyzes patterns. But how do you analyze a pattern that doesn't exist?
You can't. You have to force your own pattern on them. And Tate tried. He tried to establish the jab, but Demour just walked right through it. I really think the weight class issue is the biggest takeaway here. There's a reason weight classes exist. You put a middleweight in with a heavyweight, the middleweight has to be perfect for 12 rounds. The heavyweight only has to be lucky for 1 second.
And that's what we saw. We saw perfection failing against probability. It's math, really. Force equals mass times acceleration. Chase had the mass, he had the acceleration. Tate had the technique, but his structural integrity couldn't hold up against the force.
Also, look at the body language after the knockdown. Tate got up. He has heart. We can't deny that. He wanted to continue, but his legs were gone. The referee made a great call stopping it.
Oh, absolutely. If he had let that go on, Tate would have gotten seriously hurt. He was out on his feet. He was looking at the ref like he was trying to order a sandwich. The lights were on, but nobody was home.
It changes the landscape of influencer boxing, doesn't it? Because now the narrative shifts. The invincible Cobra has been slain.
It changes everything. It shows that you can't just rely on past glory. You have to respect the game every single time you step through those ropes. And it